I think she's done it. Sorry.
We all rose. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to call this meeting of the Town of Plattsburgh Town Board to order for September 30th, 2013. Roll call, please.
Bernie Bassett,
Here.
Thomas Wood,
Here.
Paul Moy,
Here.
Gerard Renadette,
Here.
James Coffey,
Here.
Rick Collins.
Resolution number 283, approving the minutes of the previous meeting.
Resolved that the minutes of September 16th and the 23rd of 2013 be approved and the reading of the minutes be dispensed.
Have a motion. Mr. Wood, second. Mr. Lemoy, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Paul Moy,
Yes.
Gerard Renadette,
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, resolution carries. Resolution 284, authorization to advertise for ambulance services.
Whereas the town board contract for ambulance service within the town of Plattsburgh Consolidated Ambulance District, and whereas the current contract will expire, and an advertisement requesting proposals to provide ambulance service is needed. Now therefore be resolved that an advertisement shall be placed in the official newspaper of the town of Plattsburgh to solicit proposals for the ambulance service as soon as possible. And it be further resolved that the town board, town of Plattsburgh, hereby authorize the publication of request for proposal to provide ambulance service for the town of Plattsburgh Consolidated Ambulance District. And it is further resolved that on Tuesday, October the 22nd, 2013, at 3 p.m. prevailing time at the Town Hall Office Complex, 151 Baker Road, Plattsburgh, New York, 12901, the town clerk will publicly open sealed proposals. And it is further resolved that the town board, town of Plattsburgh, does hereby reserve the right to reject any and all proposals offered. And it be further resolved, a copy of this resolution be given to the finance officer and the town clerk.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Renadette, second. Mr. Lemoy, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Paul Moy,
Yes.
Gerard Renadette,
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, resolution carries. Resolution 285, there was a misprint earlier on that number, it was out as 385, it should be 285. Resolution to set a public hearing for local law number 3, override the tax levy, to override the tax levy limit established in general municipal law 3C.
Whereas preparation of the town of Plattsburgh 2014 budget indicates that the tax cap for 2014 estimated to be 1.66%. May not be practical to develop the 2014 budget and maintain the appropriate level of services. Whereas proposed local law number 3 of 2013 will provide that the town of Plattsburgh will override the levy limit established by general municipal law 3C. And it is whereas due consideration has been given to the adoption of the proposal of local law number 3 of the 2013 by all members of the town board. And whereas it is in considered opinion of all members of the town board who are present that the public hearing should be held on the 15th day of October 2013 at 7:05 p.m. at the Town of Plattsburgh Town Hall, 151 Baker Road, Plattsburgh, New York, to consider the adoption of proposed local law number 3 of 2013. Now, on a motion duly made and seconded, it is resolved that the public hearing be held on the 15th day of October 2013 at 7:05 p.m. at the Plattsburgh Town Hall, 151 Baker Road, Plattsburgh, New York, on the question of the enactment of proposed local law number 3 of 2013. And it be further resolved that a notice of the public hearing be posted on local law number 3 of 2013 shall be published in the town's official newspaper, the Press Republican, not less than 5 days prior to that hearing. And it be further resolved that the town clerk shall post said notice on the bulletin board maintained by the town clerk pursuant to local town law, or town law 30, section 6 of the town of Plattsburgh website for a period not less than 5 days prior to the public hearing. And that a copy of this resolution be given to the finance manager and to the town clerk.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Lemoy, second.
Second.
Mr. Wood, any discussion?
Yep, in terms of the, notice, prior notice, who's responsible for getting that in? Because it's supposed to be in the Press Republican, but it's also supposed to be in, the website and, posted, who'll be doing that?
Our town clerk historically does the postings in the newspaper and the official bulletin board of the towns.
The website?
The website could be Ricky, myself, or Deborah.
Okay, so we'll make sure that's all in before, 5 days before.
Oh yes, that actually will be initiated tomorrow if this
Okay,
passes.
good.
One other item, there was a draft of this, the second whereas it indicated the town of Plattsburgh may override the levy limit because until we get to a final budget, we don't know that will happen or to what degree. I'm not sure which one was out there. The one that Ricky read, I think is perfectly fine. The law indicates that the town, I believe, and I'll defer to Counselor, the law, local law would indicate that the town would have the power to do that.
Yeah,
But it doesn't mandate once you pass the law.
I think that's true, but I think they say the law will provide the town will override if you pass the law.
And we'll leave it as will. I just want to
Yeah,
clarify.
I think that's
because the earlier
fine.
version was made.
Right.
But I also want to clarify that by passing the law does not mean that has to happen or to what degree it must happen.
No.
It's all part of the budget process. Okay? Any other questions?
Just, we had a correction of the date on the notice, right?
Right, was,
From October 15th, 14th to 15th?
right, it should be the 15th, the 14th is a holiday. So it'll be on Tuesday, the 15th.
Thank you.
Will be the correct notice going on. I believe Ricky got that. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Paul Lemoy,
Yes.
Gerard Renadette,
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, resolution carries. Resolution 286, tentative budgets filed for 2014.
Whereas the 2014 tentative budget for the town of Plattsburgh was duly filed in the town clerk's office. Now therefore be resolved that the town board, town of Plattsburgh, does hereby receive and place on file the 2014 tentative budget from the town clerk per town law, section 106, paragraph 3. And it be further resolved that copies of the tentative budget be made available to the town, at the town clerk's office, and to be posted on the town's website, and a copy of this resolution be given to the budget officer and finance manager.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Renadette, second. Mr. Wood, any discussion?
You'll be doing the same thing for the website?
Same process, right?
Good, thank you.
You're welcome. How that works internally, Tom, as we go through these at this point, I tend to make a box where something needs to be done, and between Deborah and I, when the box gets checked, we know it got done. Until then, it's outstanding. So things can happen, but we do try to make sure that follow-up takes place. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Paul Lemoy,
Yes.
Gerard Renadette,
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, resolution is carried, and I believe you've already distributed copies, Rick.
Yes, sir.
Resolution 287, advertising for the 2014 budget work sessions.
Whereas the tentative budget has been filed with the town clerk. Whereas the town board will meet with various town departments to discuss their budget. Therefore, it is resolved that the town board will hold budget work sessions on October the 15th, October the 18th, and October the 21st, 2013, with October the 22nd and 23rd as alternate dates, if further is needed, at the Town Hall complex. And to be further resolved that the town clerk have notice of the hearings published in the Press-Republican, a copy posted on the town clerk's bulletin board, and have the notice posted on the town's website. And it be further resolved, a copy of this resolution be given to the budget officer, the finance manager, and all department heads.
A motion.
So moved.
Mr. Wood, second.
Second.
Mr. Renadette, any discussion?
Just that, these are the days that we're planning on doing it, but to see if there could be changes in the order or different.
Once you pass the resolution, those would be the dates that we would be held to, unless we were to pass another resolution and, follow due process. The time within those days are still being scheduled. We're trying to do them all in the afternoon if we can. There are a variety of departments. Because of the challenges this year, we want to meet with every single department, doesn't matter how large or small the budget is. But I'm confident we'll be able to do it, hopefully within the 15th, 18th, and 21st, and in the afternoons each day. That's being worked on, was being worked on today as well, finalizing. Okay, any other discussion? Roll call?
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Paul Moy,
Yes.
Gerard Renadette,
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, resolution carries. Resolution number 288, authorization to proceed with proposal for Gadsby 45 actuarial services.
Whereas regulations require the town to obtain actuarial services to respond to governmental accounting standards board requirements. Whereas the town board in resolution 11-101 dated March 7, 2011, contracted with Armory Associates LLC to perform the initial review for 2010, 2011, 2012. Whereas Armory Associates LLC hereby agreed to perform for the town certain services in connection with post-retirement health care benefit plans for the years 2013, 14, and 15 for the purpose of determining obligations and costs in accordance with governmental accounting standards number 45, accounting and financial report by employers for post-employment benefits other than pensions. Now therefore be resolved that the supervisor is hereby given authorization to enter into the agreement with Armory Associates LLC, a New York limited liability corporation, with offices located at 120 Walden Street, Suite 601, Syracuse, New York, 13202. Herein referred to as Armory Associates LLC, to proceed with said attached agreement on behalf of the town of Plattsburgh. It is further resolved that Armory Associates LLC implement services needed as expressed in the attached agreement for an amount not to exceed $9,200 for the 3 years of service 2013, 14, and 15 as extension of the original agreement. And it be further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the budget officer, finance manager, and to Armory Associates.
A motion.
So moved.
Mr. Renadette, second.
Second.
Mr. Wood, any discussion?
Bernie, what was the charge for 10, 11, and 12? Do you remember?
I
This
don't.
is an extension, is it, can we agree to the fact that it's less than, or do you have any knowledge of that?
I believe do you recall at all?
Same price. Same price?
Identical price. The first year is always a little more as they do the data gathering.
Right, that's why I
And
was
then it comes
wondering
down.
why it wasn't reduced from the first price, if this is the same as what they charge us for the first 3 years.
They have a whole new process, the same as what they had to do 3 years ago, to get that first year of data and, do the projections, gather all of our payrolls, analyze them, find out anticipated retirement dates, whatever benefits for each employee in their negotiated agreement,
Okay.
that would drive that data, et cetera. And then once they compile, which is that tough first year, and really, having done it the previous year, there's familiarity, but it doesn't change the work they have to do. And then once they bring that in, they can do the projections for those years. Okay, good question. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Paul Moyen,
Yes.
Greg Renadette,
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, resolution carries. Oh, for next. Okay. Resolution 289, 2013 Water Sewer Capital Project Budget Amendments.
Whereas on July 15, 2013, Resolution 13-213, the Board approved the water and wastewater capital projects as outlined by the Water Wastewater Director. And whereas at the time of the budget development and funding for capital projects was accounted for the accounting equipment, capital outlay, and maintenance as assigned inappropriate fund balances. Whereas it is necessary to amend the water and sewer budget to account for the transfer of funds from the capital project. Now therefore be resolved that the town board does hereby authorize the following budget amendment as so noted. And that a copy of this resolution will be given to the budget officer, finance manager, and water and wastewater director.
A motion,
So moved.
Mr. Renadette, second.
Second.
Mr. Wood, any discussion?
Just, it's good to see that these are going to be taking place. There's a lot of deficiency in some of the infrastructure, and this is scratching the surface, but at least it's a start, it's a step forward,
And it's being paid for.
and it's being paid for.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Paul Moyen,
Yes.
Greg Renadette,
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, the resolution carries. Resolution 290, closure of 7 telecommunication projects with applicable write-offs and refunds.
Whereas various telecommunication projects have been completed, which are still contained in the outstanding receivable and deposits. And whereas the board approval is necessary to officially close out these projects, write off receivable, and refund overpayments. Now therefore be resolved that the town board is authorized the closure of the following telecommunications projects, as so noted. And resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to release RCC Atlantic 2002, 2005, 2008 remaining balance of the escrow account plus any accrued interest to date, less any outstanding fees, and to write off any unpaid balance. And be further resolved that the accounting office is hereby authorized to release the remaining balance of RCC Atlantic funds from the general fund totaling $4,370.75, and from the RCC Atlantic escrow account totaling $4,342.49, plus accrued interest to date. And be further resolved that the accounting office is hereby authorized to write off the following receivables as uncollected, as so noted. And it be further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the budget officer, finance manager, and water and wastewater director.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Lemoy, second.
Second.
Mr. Renadette, any discussion?
Just, I don't want to, I hate to correct the town clerk, but the next last resolve receivables as uncollectible, not as uncollected. There was an attempt to collect these, and we were unable.
Right, the following receivable as uncollectible. I'm sorry.
No,
That's
that's
correct.
right.
Sorry.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Paul Lemoy,
Yes.
Greg Renadette,
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, resolution carries. Resolution 291, abstract 9C.
Thank you. Resolved that the abstract of audit claims number 9C-13, 2054 to 2062 for $43,887.33, and abstract 9C-13, 354 to 370 prepays in the amount of $519,385.56 be received as reviewed by the audit committee, and the supervisor is hereby authorized to pay said.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Lemoy, second. Mr. Wood, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Paul Moy,
Yes.
Rod Brindamore.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, resolution carries. That is the end of the list. I know, Tom, you often
Yeah.
ask, are there any things we need executive session for negotiations? As you know, our ongoing is a positive word, stalled might be a more accurate word. I've met with all the non-union employees, there'll be some further discussions. There's really nothing new to report. We have a date for mediation, as you're well aware. I'm anticipating a meeting as soon as this week with Rachel. That might lend new information that I would be in a position to share this coming Monday. To be quite honest, right now, there's nothing new from last week, the week before, or the week before that. So that's it on my list.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. I'm anticipating your moves. With that said, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Mr. Woods, second.
Second.
Mr. Renada, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Paul Moy,
Yes.
Rod Brindamore.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, we will stand adjourned at 7:23.